better.
Yep. So, hi everyone. Welcome to our first session on the Agentic automation journey and from the UiPath community series. And so, in this series, we will be having five sessions. Like this will be the first session where we'll be starting with the context grounding and how we can give the knowledge to the agents of UiPath before we are building the agents itself. And the second session will be more on how we will be writing the prompts and how we can write the prompts much more better for the agents or the large language models. So that we are going to cover as part of our second session. And the third session is going to be more of building your first agent. And the fourth session is like building your custom agents with the knowledge of whatever we have gained from the previous three sessions. We will be building our specific real-time testing use case, testing agent, like how we can leverage even the agents for the testing as well. And the final session will be on Friday, like where we will be combining everything, like robots, agents, and the human collaboration, how we are going to do the orchestration for the agents. So that's what we are going to cover. And yes, you are correct. Today, it's not only context grounding, it's autopilot for everyone as well. Like we will be using the context for the autopilot for everyone. So that's how the sessions are planned, like where we will be starting with the baby steps and then we will be going till a real-time agentic orchestration process, right? And with that, like I'll be handing to um, Pradeep or Vibhor to take it up.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Please, Vibhor.
Yeah, thanks, Patlu. Just to add that, you all of you know that we are stepping into the next chapter of UiPath and moving beyond traditional RPA into the exciting world of agentic automation. And you are probably hearing a lot from, on the agentic automation from UiPath and UiPath committee. And that is why we are doing this series. And the whole idea is that how we as a committee can really help each one of you to transition to, from traditional RPA to agentic one, how you can be ready. While Patlu or Pradeep, they are covering a lot of fundamentals topics related to this one. But you can also check out UiPath Academy, where we already have a lot of courses and you can prepare yourself as well. My request to you would also be that keep this session engaging, right? Don't think whether your question is going to be stupid one or not. In no question is stupid, right? Ask whatever you want to ask and get your doubts cleared. And slowly what you will notice that because we have already started noticing that whenever companies are now hiring, they just do not want traditional RPA. They're also asking skills around the AI side and probably something on agentic side. So this session will surely help you prepare for the future and to get you strong skills. So yeah, I just wanted to add that, and in case you have any question, let us know, and I keep checking all the details on the UiPath committees to stay updated. And in case you are any of you is participating in hackathon, which we are running global hackathon, today's last date to submit your entry and solution. So yeah, with that I just hand it over to Pradeep now. Thank you guys for your time.
Yeah, thank you, Vibhor. Thanks for the intro. Without any delay, let me share my screen. Yeah. Can anyone please confirm? Is my screen is visible?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Perfect. So without making any delay, what we are going to learn today. So in each and every organization, we know everyone wants to implement the agentic automation, right? So as of now, we have done many automations related to the traditional RPA. But if you want to move it to the agentic automation, what kind of automation you should consider it as a prerequisite for it. So in today's session, what we are going to cover, we are going to cover autopilot for everyone and how we are going to integrate third-party generative activities, and how we are using the context grounding. Like why that context grounding came into the picture when we want to use the any generative related activities here. So let me open the yes. So this is a slide about me, Pradeep here. I am the third time MVP for the UiPath, and my priorities on document understanding, action center, and the AI center. And I have done couple of use cases on communication mining and document understanding earlier. And I am the certified solution architect and advanced developer architect and test suite architect. So let me go to the automation. So here is the automations we have done it. So we have started the automation long back, right? I started my career on 8 years ago. So when I started my career, there is no kind of AI based RPA. So it's just a kind of a traditional RPA when I started my RPA journey. But overall the years, every year we can able to see some kind of upgrade on the automations what we are implementing it, right? So when I started my RPA career, it's a kind of just UI based automation I have implemented, just or kind of opening the Excel, reading the data, or reading the mails, or reading the PDF. So these kind of automations I have done it earlier. But overall the years that traditional RPA moved into the API automation, low code apps related automation, then orchestration governance cloud regarding the security plugins came into the picture. Then after the discovery related stuff, we got the process mining, we got the automation up. So these kind of products came into the picture. After that, document understanding processing and intelligent document processing. So when we are going to read the documents, we can able to read the documents using the API or some kind of third party models, and we can do the processing for it. And after that, generative AI powered automation, we know, right? From past couple of years, we have integrating the generative AI with our specialized AI. Generative AI means any third-party applications, ChatGPT or Gemini. So these kind of generative AI related third-party tools, we are clubbing with our specialized AI. Specialized AI in the kind automation side is Action Center, AA Center, or DU. So we are clubbing these specialized AI with the generative AI, and we are doing the automations. And now we are in the picture of doing the automations with the UiPath LLMs and UiPath Gen activities. So now we are working on these kind of latest automations with help of Agentic. So in this today's session, what I am going to cover. So if you want to start agentic automation, so what kind of things you need to consider? And if you want to start with the baby steps, what all are the basic automations you can implement it here? And if you want to club AI in your automation, what kind of challenges you may get? Because as per the business, if you are working for any of the organization, they are not even allow you to use the chat GPT in their environment, right? So if they are not allowing you to use the chat GPT, how they can allow you to do implementation of agentic automations? We need to think about it, right? Where is that gap, and how we can fill that gap? How everyone can believe our agentic automations are trust and transparency and control in our hands? So if you want to know these kind of concepts, so we should uh, wait till this end of this session, and we should know one by one steps of the automations. Yeah. So before today, I am going to cover three topics today. So one is related to the autopilot. So how we are going to use the autopilot, and generative AI. So how we are using the generative AI, and the combination of both when you are using the autopilot with the generative AI. So what kind of considerations we have to see? If you want to limit that considerations, how we can use the context grounding in that particular area, and what's the advantages of context grounding? So these all are the things I am going to cover it today. So we know we got one of the feature that is called as a UiPath autopilot. So we got an autopilot for different areas. We got an autopilot for the developers, we got an autopilot for everyone, we got an autopilot for tester. So if you want to know the difference of the concept here, so what autopilot can do? So autopilot is a kind of a robot, I can say. So it can help us to do so many things, like whenever you want to check something, whenever you want to run something, whenever you want to get some details from website. So these are the things robot can do behalf of us. So that's the kind of autopilot plugins we have it in our UiPath to use it wherever you want it. If you want to use it as a developer, so you can use it in the studio, or you can use it in the apps, or you can use it wherever you want to write expressions. So one of the example is if you are using any link query. So you have the data table. So the data table is having the columns saying that student name or any of the college name. So if you want to fetch the data, who is the student name is starts with A, then you need to write the regex query, right? So if you are not sure about that regex query, you can take the help from our autopilot. So if you request the autopilot from the studio, what it will give some kind of example queries to use it. So you can use that queries and you can fetch the values however the way you want it. So that's the way autopilot can be helpful in the developer's perspective. So if you want to know about the everyone, autopilot for everyone, what it can do. So it's a kind of UiPath assistant or a clipboard activity, clipboard AI activity. So how this assistant will work. So how the ChatGPT is we are using it, how we are using the chat gpt, just you are opening the chat gpt, and whichever the questions you have it, you are requesting for the questions, right? So whichever the data it is having, so it can give some values in the form of response. So we are reading that response, and if you are giving the prompt in the proper way, you are getting the response in the accurate way, right? So that's the same way we have the UiPath assistant, that's called as a UiPath robot. So where we have clubbed this UiPath assistant with the autopilot. So you can ask whatever the questions you wanted, and you can get the response from our UiPath autopilot itself. But here, one thing I can say, here is the picture where we can use the context grounding. So that part I'll take it in the later. So just as of now, we'll cover about autopilot related stuff. So when you are using this, how you are fetching the large amount of data from whatever the data we required it, right? So I'll cover that topic at the end when we are using the context grounding. And the same, this autopilot can helpful for the testers also when you want to use the test cases. So if you are write the test cases, you can entirely submit your project and you can generate the test cases based on your test suite. So whichever the process you have pushed into the test manager, so that particular process can generate the test cases for you in using the autopilot. So these all are the areas we can use the autopilot, and we can make our automations very easy. Yeah. As of now, everyone is good regarding the autopilot, where we can use the autopilot and what are the topics we are going to cover. So just I'll go through the chart once.
Yes, Pradeep.
Yeah, perfect. So why I'm going through the autopilot is it's a kind of one of the AI feature we have it. So whichever the inbuilt feature we have it, we can use it. And if you want to add any additional AI features to it, I'll showcase you how we can use it, that additional AI features, and how we can limit the considerations here. So I am going to showcase these all other things. So this is the architecture I can say. So when you want to use the autopilot, you should know how it is running from the backend, right? So how it is working, what kind of prompt you are sending it, how it is interacting with the assistant, how it is interacting with the internal LLMs, and how it is getting fetching the data, how it is getting back to the data. So here it is, we can see. So here the user will start the prompt. When you start the prompt will be in the bits and pieces, right? So we need to club that bits and pieces, and we need to understand the intent, and we need to gather the data. So we need to perform the action. So these all are the things should be happen, whichever the prompt you will send it. So once you send that prompt will be moving into the way of actions and the parameters and the interactions to the assistant. So once it is coming to the assistant, we have 100 plus pre-built libraries and the context grounding and some kind of LLMs with our assistant. So wherever you get the data, so it will go to that particular integration service, and it will communicate with the LLMs, and then it will send the back to the autopilot. So here is the autopilot from here from the LLM. These are the LLMs we are clubbing into our assistant using the autopilot. So once we got the data from the autopilot, it will come as a response to the user. So that's the entire internal functionality is happening here. But one thing here, when you are sending the data, one of the question I have, if you are sending the data as what's the score for today? What's the score for today? Is it a correct prompt, I can say? So we don't know what kind of score it is asking for. Is it asking for any cricket match score, or it is asking for any football match score, or is it asking for any soccer match score? We are not sure about it. But if you have any context, if you have discussed with your friend earlier, like if you are discussing, just compare with your friend. If you are discussing with your friend, if you are directly asking what's the score, means he can't give any proper answer to you, right? But if some discussion is happened earlier to this one, saying that this is a cricket match, it's happening there, like India versus England, some discussions happened. Then if you ask what's the score, then he can recollect that particular idea and he can showcase the response as the score of the cricket, right? So how this particular consolidation is happening? So how it as a manual way we know the intelligence in our as a humans. So we can say, but how automations can gather that info and how that particular automation can give the response in the proper way. So that's where we can use context grounding. So context grounding is a kind of cloud data, means prerequisites of data. Whichever the prompt you send, from that particular prerequisites data itself will fetch the data. So that's what context grounding will work. I can showcase the example how the context grounding will work so that you will get some idea about it. Let me yeah. Here I have a couple of integrations. When you use Autopilot, we can use Autopilot with a different kind of integrations also. We have many integrations were available with the Autopilot. You can do the integration with the Outlook. You can do the integration with the Salesforce. You can do the integration with the Teams or Slack with the business perspective, or you can do the Jira automations as integrations, and we have many more. These all are the things we can do. So if you see the examples, like what kind of data we can fetch it, get Outlook email details. So these all are the prompt. If you ask it, you'll get the data from it. So let me give you one of the example. I'll showcase one of the recording, because if you want to use the autopilot in your mission, we have one of the prerequisites. So this is the autopilot for everyone. So I'll send you the link here. So here are the prerequisites. We have it. If you want to use autopilot, so your studio and your assistant should be more than 2024.10.5. So or above, then only you can use the autopilot in your mission. So as of now, my mission is having 2024.4 or 5. So that's the reason I am not able to showcase the real-time demo. But in the next sessions, we'll showcase it. For this session, we'll go with the recording. So let me autopilot example. So once this example is done, I can showcase more. So here is the autopilot, UiPath autopilot. Just we are interacting with the autopilot here with the prompts. So here, when you observe it, when you raise one of the prompt, so I show me the last three POs. So it can able to extract the data and it can able to showcase the three pivots. But when you see this particular kind of example, you may get a doubt. So as it's interacting with the chat GPT or it as it is interacting with the third party LLMs, show me the last three pivots means will it give it if you type the same message in the chat GPT, so will it give the same kind of response? No, right? It will give it won't understand what is the three pivots you are expecting it. But as per our autopilot is integrated here, so you are getting the exact three pivots here. And when you ask show me the details of the first PO, you are getting the first pivot details, right? So how we are extracting the exact details. So how where these particular pivot stored and where this pivot details stored and how it is getting the accurate details from it. So that's where we have used the context grounding. So how we can use the context grounding in the autopilot, I'll tell you. How we can add the input data as a context grounding and how we can fetch the data. I can showcase the last demo at the end. So where we can see how we can get the data, proper data, whichever we can upload it in the context grounding. So, but as per the high level, that the autopilot for everyone will work in this particular way. So wherever you want to send a prompt, it will go and check the data and it will fetch some kind of response and it will give to the user.
I just had a query.
Yes, please.
So that PO it's getting fetched from the SAP, right?
Yes.
So you have build a connector for SAP. Like how is it?
So it's a kind of one of the recorded video, but we can fetch the data in the two ways. One is using the storage bucket and one is the using integrations. So if you want to do the integration, so we can get the data in the integrated way. That's how we have integrated the SAP for the recording video. So if you want to upload the data as a storage buckets, we have one more recorded video. I'll showcase at the end, so that you will get some idea about it. But we are having only two ways. So one is storage bucket and one is for through the integrations.
Okay, so
Yeah, Pradeep, I have another. Yeah, continue. Yeah.
yeah, so I
Yeah.
just wanted to know that. So which API to use? So how have you instructed it to like which API you should be using for getting the POs? Does that just get the PO or can it also get
Yeah.
some other sales order and all? Like how is
Uh,
it?
that's related to the business perspective. So that API calls we should get it from the customer team where you are working, but we have the integrations are available for it. So whichever the integrations we have it, we need to get some kind of access from the customer end. So like how we are using the Outlook integration. So if you are dealing with the Outlook integration, whichever the prompt you will send it, it will give the data, right? So that's the same way we have the connectors for the integration connectors for the SAP or whatever the third party applications.
Okay.
But whichever the third party applications we have done it as an integration, that particular integration should be clubbed with our autopilot. So when your autopilot is a kind of with instead of using the activities, we can send the prompts to get the data from there. So if you use get outlook emails, what it will do as an activity level, so it will give some kind of active mail messages list, right? So that's the same way. If you go with the autopilot, if you request it, it will give the data in the format of text, because the response we have it in the way of words or the text format, free text format. But if you want to get the proper data, we should connect it to the proper integrations, and that particular data should be inside the context grounding. Yeah.
Yeah, Pradeep, Sandeep here. In the previous screen, you told 100 plus libraries are we are using. That
Yes.
are predefined libraries or a custom we can add in this auto.
Those all are the predefined libraries. But if you want to use that predefined libraries to make it as a custom level. Custom level means if you are using for one of the banking. So if you are working for SBI Bank. So if you want to know the particular account number detail, account balance. So at that time, if you said please find out the balance of this particular account number means will it give our LLMs? It won't give it because whichever the SBI bank details were not present in the 100 plus pre-built models, right? So what we have to do, we have to use that model and we have to upload our data inside that particular model and we have to create a boundary for it and we should create some kind of trust transparency in the way of using AI trust layer. Then we can fetch the data, right? So that's how the high level of mechanism will work. So I'll explain it in the next slide so that you will get some idea how exactly we are getting the data from third-party applications.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Just 1 minute. Yeah. Okay. So we have seen it how the functionality of Autopilot will work, right? So the Autopilot will work in the combination of Gen AI, right? So if you are go inside the Gen AI, you should know what kind of Gen AI connectors we have it. So not only with ChatGPT, means OpenAI. So except this, we have Microsoft Azure OpenAI, we have Amazon SagaMaker, we have Amazon Bedrock, we have Anthropic, we have Gemini AI. So these kind of connectors we have it. And if you want to build any third party, if you want to build your own connector, also we have UiPath builder, UiPath connector builder. So there you can create integration connector and you can add it to your integrations. So what's the major advantage like when you want to use the Gen AI components, when you want to use the Gen AI for your automation, what you can expect it? So what kind of advantages you may get it? You will get it as a context gathering. So because if you go through the Gen AI, so almost whichever the prompt you will send it, you will get some kind of context, right? Whatever the context you want to know, you will get some kind of context gathering and the specialized models. So using this particular Gen AI, we can use our specialized models. We can club these both at once and we can able to fetch the data. One of the example is, so if you want to read the P1 number from 100 plus different variants of the documents. So how you can do that? So how much difficulty to do it using our DU? It's possible to do it with the DU, but you don't know how many types of variants you need to create it, or you don't know how many documents you need to do the pre-labeling to use or to create any third-party model. But just go with the high level of specialized AI and the generative AI. Using the specialized AI, we can digitize that particular document and we can convert that document to the text format. So once you got the text format of data using our specialized AI for DU, so you can send that particular data to the generative AI model and you can send one of the prompt saying that I need this P1 number from this particular above text. So what it will do, it will fetch the data. So how many pages, whatever it the pages, if it is a 10 pages or 20 pages, our DU will convert that data to the text format. Our generative AI model will fetch the that particular P1 number from the free text and it will give the proper data, right? So how much simple is it? Right. So that's the areas we can say generative AI is more compatible to us, our specialized AI automations, right? And robots do work. Gen AI is a brain and our automations can do the work for it and the human in the loop. So wherever you are stuck with taking some kind of decisions, what we can make the human in the loop. So that's also the one of the possibility what we can do it in the generative AI models. And related to the confidence in governance, so whichever the data you are sending it, so that data should be trust and that data should be transparency. We should know that whichever the data we are sending it to the our generative AI models. So that particular data should not be go outside of our cloud, and it should not use these particular data to train outside of the LLMs, right? So that's the trust and the transparency we should showcase. So that the future we have it in the way of AI trust layer. We can go through that particular AI trust layer concept at the end. So if you want to use, so here is the questions I have it. So if you want to use generative AI and if you want to use autopilot in your machine, so do you have the answer, the trust and transparency and the context and the action? So these all are the for these all are the limits we have it. Example is, so whichever the data you are sending it to the autopilot through our autopilot for everyone. So you are sending some kind of data saying that these all are my details. These all are related to mine. So from this, I need to get this information. So you send some kind of data to our autopilot. But do you sure whichever the data you sent it to our autopilot, so that particular data is not going out of the UiPath cloud or not going out of our UiPath LLM models? We are not sure, right? So where the trust and transparency? You should we have the trust and transparency if you want to implement it in the business level. So if you even humans are not don't wants to send their personal data to the outside, how business can believe these kind of agentic automations and how they can give the approval to these kind of automations? So for this, here are the questions: trust and transparency and the context. So how we are sending the context and the action. So when you send the prompt, do you think you will get the exact action from that particular prompt? You are not sure, right? But how we can overcome these problems? How we can overcome when you are going to use the agentic automations or these autopilot, Gen AI related activities in your uh, organizations? So for this, we have one of the feature that is called as a UiPath trust layer. So it's a kind of a layer between the customer and the third party LLMs. So whichever the data you are sending it as a customer, so that data we are sending it to the LLM models to get the response, right? So getting these going these two transactions, we have a bunch of interactions are happening between these two things. That's a place we came into the picture of UiPath AI trust layer. So what it will do? So what kind of operations will happen? What kind of advantages we can see? We can get to know here. So UiPath AI trust layer mainly provide three kind of advantages. One is trust, one is transparency, and one is control. So whichever the data we are sending it, so that will be in our inbuilt AI models itself, and the transparency we can see and we can understand the data flow, how the data flow is happening one by one stage and how we are getting the data back as a response. And the control we can see the kind of we have the rules and admin control to make it how we are getting the data, and we have the context grounding from where you need to get the data. So these are the features we have it if you want to use AI trust layer. So to make these particular limitations, so sorry. Yeah. So here you can see the limitations, right? For these limitations, we can use AI trust layer as a component. So we can get this component from the orchestrator. So we can use this component and we can use it. So let me show you if I can showcase the AI trust layer. Just you need to navigate to the cloud. Then let me go to the admin. So here you can see the AI trust layer. So here you need to select for which tenant you want to use the autopilot. Sorry, AI trust layer. Then we can see the autopilot for everyone and the context grounding inside it itself. Then just you need to install it. So here you can install it, but mine is a kind of a previous version, so I could not able to do it here. So, but if you want to use it, so you can install from here. So when you install this particular one, so it will be enabled to your assistant. So here. Yes. So here you can see one more option as an autopilot. So there you can use the autopilot for everyone. Yeah. So here I want to showcase. So if you want to use any of the DU document understanding flow, so using our third-party tools. So when you fetch the data from the third party, when you are as we discussed one of the example. So if you want to get a data and if you want to send the data to the third party application LLMs, and if you want to get it as a response, what kind of internal interactions will happen? So when you see here, the first step, DU process submit a prompt to LLM gateway. So what the DU can do? So it's from here it started as a DU output, but as a pre set of DU, what it will do? It will read the PDF and it will digitize that PDF and it will extract the data as a PDF data to the string format of data. Then once you got that string format of data, that string format of data as converted as a prompt and it will send it to the LLM gateway. Right. So this is the first step from the using UiPath product. These UiPath products are called as a specialized AI. So from here, the data will come to the second stage. Second stage, LLM authenticates the request and validate the API. So whenever you are sending the data to the third-party LLMs, you should do the authentication. So without authentication, you can't do it, because when you see, if you want to use any Gen AI related components or any AI related components, that should be authenticated, right, through the integration service or whatever the authentication service we have it, that should be do the authentication. Then once it is done, LLM checks if the policy exists to refuse the call. So if it is exist, then it will start it, or otherwise it will refuse the call. And this is the fourth one. So LLM proxy translate and send the request to the LLM using the UiPath credential. From the UiPath credential, LLM proxy will send the data to the third-party LLMs. So in the fifth stage, here itself, we are having the third-party LLMs or UiPath managed third-party AI models. So where we are sending the data to it. So once you send the data to the third-party tools, what it will do? It will send the data back to the our particular AI trust layer again. So that particular AI trust layer will read the data and it will check with the context grounding. So I will cover this context grounding, where this context grounding will work, and whichever the response will come, will get the response back to the UiPath product again. So UiPath product means whatever it may be. It may come into the picture of output pane, or it may come into the picture of mail or apps. So whatever it may be, but we'll get the data as a response based on our configuration. So this is the high level of generative AI with specialized AI with the use of AI trust layer. So this is where, here you can see this is the specialized AI, and here you can see this is the generative AI, and here where we are using the AI trust layer as a component, where we have couple of features, context grounding, and these are the features we have it. So we are going to cover mainly the concept of context grounding today. So because it is most useful feature when you are going to do any agentic automations. So first of all, how this particular context grounding mechanism will work. Context grounding mechanism will work based on the RAG. RAG means retrieval augmented generation. So in the high level, if you want to say, context grounding is a bunch of data. So bunch of data means uh, I have one model. So I want to ask, what is my name? So what's the prompt? Based on my prompt, will it give my name? because that particular model itself doesn't know who I am, right? So it may give the response back as saying that we are not sure who you are requesting for us. So we have couple of example names. So here is the example name means A, B, C kind of the way it will give. But how you will get the exact context what you are expecting based on the prompt. So this is where the picture context grounding came. So context grounding is a kind of data. Data means before requesting for the prompt saying that who I am, you should upload your resume in the context grounding. As the context grounding is two ways, as connect the input data is a two ways. One is connecting it through the storage buckets. One is connecting it through the integrations. So if you use the storage buckets, so just upload your resume saying that this is the input data, you can use it. Then after that, if you ask the question who am I, then what it will do? It will fetch the data from the resume and it will read the all the necessary details and it will give the response as okay, your name is Pradeep. If I ask what is my experience, it will fetch the data from resume and it will give the data. If you ask what kind of where I am expertise, then it will fetch the data of resume and it will give the read that particular data and it will give accurate data as a response, right? So this is where we are not wasting our time. This is where we are not getting unnecessary response. We are getting the accurate response from the LLMs using context grounding. So this is where we are using the context grounding. You got the idea, right? So instead of fetching the data from entire cloud, we are fetching the data from specified location where we are using it as an input source. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So here you can see how we can use context grounding. So whichever the business data we have it. Sorry. So whichever the business data we have it, we can store that business data into the context grounding. Then we can do the automation. So whenever the automation developer request using the UiPath Gen AI, so you will get the data from that particular context itself where the data, where business data we have added it as a context grounding. So here you can see the UiPath trust layer where we can get trust, transparency and the control, and where we are having the input data of business data in the context grounding. When you request as an automation developer, we are not fetching the data from somewhere else. We are not fetching the data from third-party LLMs. We are fetching the data from the context grounding using the LLMs. So what it will do? We can get the accurate of data. So you can see here some kind of example without context grounding what will happen, with context grounding what will happen. So without context grounding, you will get unreliable predictions. As I said you, what is my expertise means LLMs doesn't know what is my expertise itself, right? So if you upload your resume in context grounding, if you request what is my expertise means it will give he's uh, pretty much good in UiPath, he's pretty much good in automations, agentic automations, whatever that may be. Some kind of relative response will get it right. So that's where this is without context grounding, and here it is with context grounding. Without context grounding, we'll get slightly stagnant insights and timely, costly adjustment. And here with the context grounding, you will get the accurate response and the consistent predictions. And you will get it in the first response itself. You will get the proper response, I can say. So these all are the kind of features we have it in the context only. Like we can do the index and injection pipelines using. We can create this in the storage bucket, and there we can create the index for it, and we can add it to our autopilot. So that's where, and related to the input data. So we can provide the input data in the different format. So as of now, I said you I can upload the resume, right? So it can be in the PDF or it can be in the document, right? But except this, we have many types of documents we can upload it, like CSV, TXT, or XLX, whatever the data, it can support it. Like if you are having the Excel file having uh, 10 lakhs records with the student details, you can upload that student details inside the context grounding. And if you raise prompt saying that what's the percentage for this particular student, what it will do? It will give you that particular answer, right? So it's pretty much simple instead of fetching it from the 10 lakhs records. Just send a prompt, you will get an answer. So that's where we can use different kind of extensions. And it will work on the RAG. So as I told you, so our context grounding will work in the retrieval augmented generation. And here it can support multiple products and the proof of knowledge, multilingual support, and expertise, enterprise ready. So these all are the things we have it when you want to use the context grounding. So here we have a couple of roadmap features also available. So I can share this particular slide once this particular session is done. So you will get some idea about what all are the new features we have it. So as of now, there is no audio files and transcripts we can upload it. But in the feature of 2025.10, we have that particular feature also. We can upload audio files as a input source to get the data from the context grounding. So these are the features we have it. So let me showcase one of the example so that you will get some idea about it, how the context grounding file we can upload it and how we can fetch the data from it. So here what we are going to do, we are going to use the autopilot for everyone with context grounding. When you use these two, how it is interacting with the GenAI powered conversational and how we are getting the data back.
Let's consider how this might help a large pharmaceutical company.
Yeah.
Clinicians have to assess and interpret.
Can anyone confirm me? Are you able to hear the voice of the recording?
Donor eligibility.
Yes.
Complex.
So here, what we are doing it, we are taking one of the input source file. So where we are having the blood bank SOP. So this is a PDF file I can say. So this particular PDF file is having much of data regarding the our requirement. So what we are doing it instead of using the third party LLMs or which instead of using the cloud data, we are going to upload this particular file in the context grounding. Based on this particular file, we are going to request the prompt. So what our prompts will do, whatever automation, whatever autopilot will do, whichever the prompts we have it, that prompts will be sent it to this particular context grounding data, and it will fetch the data from this particular input, and it will give it as a response.
Standard operating procedure documents. The forms are complex, long, and have multiple nested tables and in-depth interpretation. To access these, a user can upload these documents into a UiPath orchestrator bucket to make them available.
So here we navigated to the UiPath orchestrator storage bucket. As I said you, we can get the data in the two ways. One way is uploading the documents into the storage buckets, and one more thing is we can get the data using the integration. So here we are doing the way of updating into the storage buckets, and we can get the data from it.
So relevant content can easily be searched, retrieved, and processed by an LLM at runtime. Clinicians can then come into Autopilot and ask common questions in natural language that they might receive from potential donors. As the user executes various queries, Autopilot leverages a variety of techniques to determine the best way to get the answer. Here it leverages context grounding to search through all of the available documents in our knowledge base, orchestrator buckets, and use them to generate a response from the LLM in natural language. As the execution takes place, Autopilot and context grounding will also provide a proof of knowledge a link to the document, and specific reference text that was used as basis for that query. Ask follow-up questions to help users proactively find related information, and provide the ability for users to fine-tune further responses. In doing so, we help reduce thousands of hours of scouring through all of these documents to find related information and determine next steps. The combination of autopilot and context grounding enables an automated way to reliably interact with, search, find answers from a large set of unstructured data, and in the process produce millions of dollars in time and cost savings for clinicians, ultimately helping them to expedite the donation approval process to provide for those in need.
I have a question.
Yes, please.
So in this given example, there were like bunch of PDFs, like 5-10 PDFs.
Mhm. Yeah.
So when you asked it a question, did it just use the files that were uploaded into context grounding, or did it also use the knowledge from the LLMs like GPT-4o? How was it?
So the thing is here, so mostly it will fetch the data from our storage buckets itself, whichever the data it requires, it will fetch the data from there. So if it is a prompt matches that particular question, it can able to fetch the data. Like if you are uploaded your resume there. So, and if you are sending the prompt is saying that what is the job responsibilities, means does it match our data? No, right? So whichever the data you have uploaded it's entirely different, and whichever the prompt you are sending it's entirely different. At that time, it will try to fetch the data from the cloud, but most probably the context grounding is used to store our personal information should be safe. Our customer information should be safe as in the context grounding, and this context grounding is not limited for only one file or only one type. So whichever the data you have it, or whichever the integrations you have it, you can plug it and you can keep it in the context grounding so that it can fetch the accurate data from it. So that's the reason we are using the feature of context grounding for the agentic automations.
Can we like restrict it just to use the data from the context grounding and not to use the LLM? Is that a possibility?
Yes. The thing is LLM can give the values from LLM is having the capability of getting the data from the third party LLMs because it's pre-built model. But whenever you are say keeping your files as a context grounding, it mostly fetch the data from your context grounding itself. Just we need to enable use the context grounding or apply the autopilot apply the AI trust layer. So then it will give only the data from your context boundary.
Okay, fine.
Yeah. So that's
Can
where
we, yeah, I
please.
have a question. Like, can we create a folder under storage bucket? Because, like, let's consider we are
Mm,
working on two different projects and we are uploading two set of different data into that.
mm.
So, how the bot, like, agentic AI will get answers from the questions?
So the
Like,
thing
will
is,
it
if you're
go
yeah.
and go through everything, or like how it is behaving?
No, the thing is when you are using the generative related activities, when you are using these particular activities, what it will ask for the folder, for which folder you want to connect. So if you are using the two folders, what you need to do in two folders, different storage buckets will be there, right? So you can connect it with the different storage buckets, and based on the storage bucket details, you can provide it. Based on the shared folder, you can provide it. So what it will do, it will fetch the data from the same folder itself. So you can keep these particular details as a configurable and create two separate folders as the shared folders, storage bucket folders, and you can fetch the data.
Yeah, got it. Thank you.
Yeah, you no need to upload everything at one context grounding because it may get stuck if you are uploading 6 to 7 resumes, and if you ask what's the experience means it can't able to fetch it because many resumes were present in the same folder. Yeah, that's how we need to do the segregation in the storage buckets.
Pradeep, do we have size limitation on the storage bucket?
Size limitation, I think we don't have. Let me see it in the features. No, I think we don't have any size limitations for it. but I'll check it. You can reach me through the LinkedIn or whatever it may be. So I'll try to get that value and I can share with you. So let me share my LinkedIn profile also.
And the storage bucket will be within the cloud of UiPath, or it can be in organization infrastructure as well.
So it's inside our UiPath cloud itself because we are using the uh, storage buckets of orchestrator, right? So it will be in the cloud of orchestrator. So if you want to use any outside of storage buckets, you can use it like Azure, Amazon. So whatever if you want to use, you can do it and you can club it to our integrate with our UiPath.
Okay.
I think we are good.
And Pradeep, I have one more question.
Please.
Yeah, let's say if
Thanks,
I don't
Pradeep.
want to add
Hmm?
PDFs into the storage bucket, let's say I have the images.
Okay.
Okay, is it possible, like, will that Autopilot automatically read the images, or do we have to like
So,
add separate steps like OCR or something like that?
see, as of now, like in case if you are talking on the like context learning, giving the knowledge, all of the text details are in preview or like available for the general. But the text and the image combination is coming soon. Like it's already in the testing phase, so we will be receiving it like maybe in a couple of months.
Okay.
Okay. So I think we are like almost 1 minute more time. Let me cross it. So thanks, Pradeep. Thanks for your session and to walk us through like the context grounding and autopilot for everyone. So I think this is going to be the foundation for the upcoming sessions. And also tomorrow we have one more session, how we will be defining the norms and all. So before everyone drops off, I would like to request everyone to turn on your camera so that like you can take one picture. So would you please turn on your cameras? Yes.
Is it done, Patrudu?
I'm taking it just a minute. Yep. Thanks everyone. Thank you. Thanks for
Thank
joining
you so much.
and yeah, would like to see you again tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you, Pradeep. Thank you,
Thank you,
Pat.
Pradeep. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. See you tomorrow.
Thanks all.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Hey, Vijay.